Welcome to CEAg Talks, the video series from CEAg World, a media site devoted to the business of growing food undercover, including greenhouse produce, vertical farms, and outdoor protected crops. Today we're welcoming Trevor Gibson, CFO and controller at Equinox Growers, a greenhouse producer of leafy greens located in Virginia. Trevor will be joining one of our editors on stage at the CEAg World Conference and Expo for a one-on-one chat about how growers can use budgets, KPIs, and simple financial models to guide investments, cut waste, and improve profitability. In this CEAg Talk, we'll get a sneak peek at that conversation. Trevor, thank you so much for joining me for this episode.
Happy to join you. This is great. Thanks for taking the time.
Now, what is your biggest piece of advice for CEA growers when they're setting a budget?
Well, really be realistic. Expenses are always going to be more than you anticipate, and revenue ramp up is always going to be longer than you're predicting. So to give yourself enough room to have potential for disruption in your business plan while you're moving ahead, and really expect the best but prepare for the worst. And then constantly review and refine your budgets. How are you doing? How are your actuals compared to your budget? And looking for any avenues for efficiencies and optimization.
Now, in your chat at the conference in November, you'll cover simple financial models. What distinguishes a simple financial model from a complex one?
A simple financial model is designed to give directional validation, whether that's high-level break-even point, expansion feasibility, or equipment ROI. It should be presentable to your stakeholders, understandable, but it's not really diving into the weeds. It's high level. It's a 30,000 foot view as opposed to being down into the actual percentages and KPIs that are involved more in a complex model.
Now, in your opinion, what are the most important key performance indicators or KPIs that growers should pay attention to?
Well, this is a great question, and it's what we always struggle with and what we're always trying to consistently and constantly optimize. When I look at financial models and the operation, financially of a company or operational, you really identify those items that are fixed cost, and you try to optimize those and say, okay, well, these are the variables that we can, really assign, whether that's, number of seeds we're using in a month, to utilities, to SG&A as well. But as we look at the items that can slip up and down, this is where, the make or break of profitability. And that's, labor is a huge component of what we do. And that's, we're trying to mitigate labor through automation, but you still have a lot of people throughout the process. So we look at, mitigating overtime, whether that's using split shifts or, finding pieces of equipment that can optimize, our throughput. We look at yields per square foot by varietal to optimize, what varietals grow best during what times of the year. Yes, it is indoor farming, but it's still weather dependent, depending on length of days, how cold it is. And, we look at system uptime. We constantly monitor all of our major choke points, whether it's a seeding line, transplant, harvesting, processing, all the way to putting it on the truck and delivering it to the customers. And then finally, we talked a little bit about inventory controls and making sure that you have a firm grasp on your inventory, and that's monthly, sometimes weekly inventory counts. But always a monthly. And this way you try to identify those items that have less variability. The amount of LPOP paper you use per month should be pretty consistent. The amount of peat should be consistent, month in and month out. So you can really identify, you're using those inputs efficiently and driving profitability.
For sure. Definitely a lot of KPIs to keep track of, but I'm sure every CEA grower is aware of that. Well, Trevor, I don't want to give too much away from your CEAg Talk in November. So those are all the questions that I have for you for this episode. But is there anything else you would like to share with our audience that you haven't covered already?
Yeah, I mean, it's just sort of taking the holistic approach when analyzing a business. Using data integration, making sure all your systems communicate with one another, that you're not creating just a lot of phantom data, but you're actually, you know, seeing data correlations and anomalies, and then using that data to really make data-driven decisions. So you have a backup to a decision that's being made. There's financial viability that's proofed out through whether it's a simple financial model or and then eventually more complex financial models to help you manage your day-to-day business and optimize your profitability.
Well, Trevor, thank you so much again for joining me on this episode of CEAg Talks, and we look forward to continuing the conversation in November.
Yeah, looking forward to it. I can't wait to see everyone.